Nine. First and foremost, I'm really excited to go ahead and continue working on your lit analysis essays. I thought you did a great job last week of navigating the challenge of picking out something that caught your attention, but really putting the analysis on the author. Because at the end of the day, whether you want to look at Jem or Scout or Arthur or Atticus or Bob, Mayella, or whether you want to look at a theme, ultimately at the end of the day, there is one constant, and that is Harper Lee, right? She created these characters. She developed them in a certain way. She crafted these stories with us in mind, the reader in mind. And so that's ultimately what we're analyzing. I thought you did a great job developing questions last week focused on Harper Lee, and then answering those questions with the answer focused on Harper Lee. And those answers are going to become your thesis statement. Or at least a starting point for them. So I'm really, really impressed with the work you've done so far. And so I'm excited to go ahead and continue that work this week. Now, last week was a bit of a prep week, or maybe a generating week was maybe a better way to think about that. If last week was the generating week, this becomes the outlining week. So we're going to do it by working backwards a little bit. And here's what I mean by that. We're going to start with a full essay. We're going to start by taking a look at an actual lit analysis that someone wrote for me 2 years ago. We're going to break it down. We're going to take a look at what goes on in a good lit analysis. And then we're going to work backwards and take a look at how did that person outline in preparation for that essay, and then we'll apply both of those lessons to your own outline. I think that order makes sense just considering this online component that we have. So let's take a look at what's in Google Classroom for you this week to set you up for success on it. As always, Google Class Stream, a little messy, but if we go to classwork, here's your stuff for this week. So part one is starting with the full thing, the full lit analysis. We're going to take a look at a sample lit analysis that, once again, a student wrote for me. This was 2 years ago now. And so on either Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to ask you to sign up for one of those two Google Meets. And what we're going to do is we're going to break down this essay. So in preparation for that essay, I'm going to ask you to read and maybe even kind of annotate or mark up this essay with things that you notice, things you like, things that you want to know how to do. We're going to break that down in our Google Meet. So if you can read and analyze this ahead of time, that would be a huge, huge help. Now, one thing we're going to focus on is how this writer focused on Harper Lee. Exactly what we talked about at the beginning of this video, exactly what we talked about last week. It's right here in this writer's claim. We're going to take a look at how Harper Lee was really the focal point of this essay, which is exactly what we want to do. So if you have a printer at home, I recommend printing this off and writing right on it. And that way, as we discuss, you can flip through, you can find those moments. If you don't have a printer at home, then consider just grabbing a separate sheet of paper and writing yourself some notes, things that you notice, things that you wonder, things that you want to do and you're not quite sure how. We will break that down. We'll also discuss if there's anything that you see in here that you say, I wish there was more there, like I think the writer could have done more. Or the other side of that coin, the writer got a little distracted there, like maybe we could condense a little bit. We'll talk through it all. But this is going to give us kind of the end goal. Where do we want to get to? And I'm excited to do that with you. So again, read and analyze this on either Monday or Tuesday, and then Tuesday or Wednesday, jump on one of those Google Meets. You've got links here, although you also have them up on your Google Calendar and in your email. Jump on one of those. Let's break it down together. So that's going to be kind of part one of the week. Once we have done that, then we can start thinking about your own prep. We've got a couple things in here for you. One is the lit analysis kind of outline, and that's going to look similar to what you've seen before. It's this guy. We've used this before, okay? And so there is a really easy way to fill this in. You're just going to double click or right click on it. And as you do, it's going to open up a drawing. And the great thing about this is you can type right in there. I'm going to put this on the back burner for a quick second, though, because we had the sample essay. The other thing that's in here, even before you start on your own, I included that writer's outline from a few years ago. So you can see how the writer ended here, but started with an outline. So I wanted to include this because I want you to kind of see what the groundwork looked like. So you'll notice that pretty much the topic sentence here, well, that became the topic sentence in here. The claim you see here, boom, that was the writer's claim here. Focus on Harper Lee, boom. So this, what you have, eventually became the full essay. So we're working backwards here. So part 1, discuss the essay. Part 2, check out how the person outlined to set themselves up for that essay. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and apply this to your own. So when it's blank, you can double click on it. And the nice thing is you can go right in here and you can write your own claim. Remember, focus on Harper Lee. And so you can go ahead, type right in there, move right on along, focus for that first body paragraph. You can go ahead, put in any particular examples. You can start finding some quotes and all of those things. That is ultimately going to be your focus there. Let me get rid of this so that doesn't pop up for you. All right. So this should look really familiar. And again, just by double clicking, you can go ahead and start typing in. But this is exactly what we've looked at before, but the focus is going to be on Harper Lee. So as we go back to classwork, remember, we're working backwards. We are starting with full essay, break it down, let's discuss. Then head over to the outline. If you need some help, check out how that sample essay came together. This is the outline that writer used. And then when you're ready, you'll click here and you already have a copy ready for you that you can start typing in. In addition to that, it's a long book, and I know that, and we read it in a very interesting way, certainly with this idea of being on quarantine. So here's kind of just a really quick overview here. And you also have the graphic novel available to you, and you have me available to you. This just gives you a really quick overview of what are kind of the big events. That way you can go back and start finding some things. But again, I'd really, really like to be of help there. And so that's kind of my final reminder with this is we're meeting to discuss the sample essay. And then by the end of the week, you want to have your outline done. But I'd love to be a part of that outlining process with you. I would love to go ahead and take a look at this together and do some brainstorming and figure out how what you want to do fits into that outline, and we can do that together. So I really recommend that you check out those office hours. We've got a lot going on. You'll notice that I've got days available here for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to actually add a Thursday in there. And so we'll make sure that those mornings are available. So you're going to have to get out of bed at a decent time, conferencing from 9:30 to 11. But that's a lot of time slots because I really want to go ahead and work through those things with you. So take advantage of this. So this week, all about taking the brainstorming from last week, bringing that over into some outlining for this week. That's going to be our focus. And so we'll go ahead and hopefully do some really good generating this week of taking those generated ideas from last week, putting those into a concentrated outline, and next week we'll start that writing process. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to look at. We're working our way backwards, and I'm excited because I think these are going to turn into some really, really exciting essays. So take care of yourselves, and if I can be of any help, please let me know. Enjoy the week. Talk to you soon. Bye.